All right, so welcome everyone. This is our first capsule. It's going to be one of our small story times, just some random videos that we want to put out. So, in episode 3 of our um, morality meter episode, I made mention of how I got scammed 11.5k through Dota 2. So, Lynn wanted me to do a story time for that.
I'm a little listener today, so I'm a little pixie in the corner.
Yeah, so this is the story of how I got scammed $11,000 through Dota 2. So, Lynn, you know how like you never thought it would be you when you hear like more of the stories and like they say like 90-year-olds think they're grown, but they're actually not? Like, I thought that my brain had a part that saves me from making bad decisions, but in this story, my brain was not online yet. I was just living chronically online. So it's worth noting that everyone that I bothered telling this story to thinks that it's made up because it's so crazy, except for the 10 friends I had at that time that lived through it with me. So they like got to experience this in real time. Like, even when I met my husband and I told him about it, he thinks that it sounds too crazy to be real. So today I found some receipts to go with this story, and it's like undeniable receipts. I got text messages, bank statements, all of that. So,
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. So
Drama.
I thought that being independent meant that I couldn't be naive, and that cost me a lot of money because growing up, I always thought I was a bit more mature than other people my age because my parents weren't really around much. And they sent me overseas when I was like 16, 17 to study at uni. So by the time I was 18, or maybe in this story I was 19, I was already living like an adult for like 2 years. Like, I was already living alone, I was doing my own things. Like, at that point, at 19, I was just going, like, getting out of a long term relationship. I say long term, but it's actually been 2 years, which, for like a 19-year-old felt like a long time. So at that time, I was like working a lot, but not like real work. It wasn't like hardworking work. It was like side hustles, like helping people with their uni assignments, some odd tasks here and there, and like excess pocket money that my parents sent me. So it's not a real job, but it was like I did manage to save up like $11,000, and this was Australian dollars. And I don't know if something's wrong with me and you're gonna scold me, but I kept this amount of money in cash, like literally paper cash. And don't ask me why. I just like seeing the money physically. Bank accounts was only for real things like rent or tuition. So this was my fun money. So,
I just imagine you walking around with cash, like, what's up, people? We ball
no,
in.
I actually did that. Like, sometimes the whole stack of cash
What?
was in my bag. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, something's wrong with me. But um So what happened was why I had this money in the first place was because my ex, or at that time he was my boyfriend, he was going through like a really rough period of time, and his mom was like really sick for that time. So I remember wanting to help, so I was like saving up all this money for treatments or insurance bills, but he would never like, because every time I offered to like send him something, he wouldn't. So like I would only spend a little at a time to like buy him food or buy him stuff that he needs, like a heater. But like it never like got to a point where I was using a lot of it. And because it was intended for the mom's medical bills, like he didn't even know about it. And like of course he wouldn't let me send a little at the time. So I wanted to get the full amount before sending it to him, which would have been like 20K. So um unfortunately, this isn't my story to tell, so I wouldn't go into details. But unfortunately, his mom did pass away and it broke him a lot. And at that age, he was my age. So he was 19 trying to process everything and has a really like bad home situation with his dad. So our relationship fell apart. It was like a lot for him to go through. So we agreed to take a break, but actually like he really did need space, so it was a permanent breakup. So I was single, I was depressed, and I was very lonely. I had this amount of money that now no longer had a purpose. So I'm just gonna say 10 grand because 11 sounds a bit weird. So it didn't sound like much back then, but I guess it was a lot with like currency conversion and like my age. So at that time, I didn't know what to do with it. And all I was doing with my life was playing games. I was playing Dota a lot, and it's always been like my thing to play Dota when I'm sad or when I'm upset. Like even in high school, I would stay up to 4 or 5 a.m. But because of this like depression situation, I was like playing a lot at 4 or 5 a.m. like at that time. So I was skipping university, I was playing all day, I was spiraling a lot. And one night during like this 4 or 5 a.m. queue, someone added me, and his profile was like quite anonymous. So you know like on Steam you can have like no pictures, you can have nothing on your profile. So his profile was like that. It was like, I guess it looks like a Smurf account. He was watching, like, he added me, so I accepted. And then over the next few weeks, he was watching my games, and like eventually we started talking. So I was like, hey, you want to play with me so I don't have to solo queue all the time? And that was how I became friends with my scammer, I guess.
It's okay. It always starts there. These people are, they
Yeah,
come into it's like, hey, what's up? Just another guy. And then that's why you can't trust people, man.
yeah, I guess the red flag should have really been there when his profile was like anonymous, no profile picture, nothing. So I'm gonna call him Leo, just for legal purposes. I don't want to disclose who he is. I also don't want to give him satisfaction of naming him. So at that time, I was 19 and this guy was 29. And it sounds so weird, right? But when you were telling me your Am I the A-hole story about the age gap, I thought of this story because, like, what does a 19-year-old and her 29-year-old have in common? It's like literally nothing. And what is a man that is almost 30 years old doing chatting with teenagers online? Unfortunately, at 19, I did not have this mindset, and I was just thinking like, okay, here's someone older who respects me and wants to talk to me like an equal and actually seems interested in my life. So Leo, to give you some context, he portrayed himself as like a very um, big shot kind of guy, like has his whole life settled, like he knows what he's doing, he has his life planned out. And you know, at that stage, I just got out of like two back-to-back relationship with like what I thought was like pretty immature guys, and I was out of my era of dating and helping like bums. So during that period of time, he played a lot of Dota with me, like every single day. He joined my Discord, and at that time, because I was playing like Dota so much, I curated a friend group. I think it was like maybe like 10 of them. So, like, we would have like 10 people on Discord every day. So, there's only like one person in this story that is very notable, and I'm gonna call him John, and some other friends that I curated that are not so much of a big character. So over these few months, Leo, John, and I were like playing a lot. And he, because of his age and experience, positioned himself as like a mentor figure for me, who also showed interest in me. So I was like, okay, you know, it's not bad because I'm like, okay, I'm like going through uni, and someone who has like, you know, real life experience is trying to mentor me in the world. So I was feeling a bit secure, and he knew I was studying business as well. So he was like, I'll teach you about investing and how to make your money work for you. And he claimed to be a successful businessman based in Melbourne, by the way. So if
That's such a red flag.
I know. So I didn't know that at that time, but for all my Melbourne listeners, you would know on Swanston Street there is this famous restaurant. Well, not famous, but it's well known. It's been there for forever. It's called China Bar, and he claims to own China Bar. But of course, like, at that time, I was living in Adelaide. Like, I didn't know that China Bar was like a pretty well-known restaurant, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, he just owns his own restaurant. Like, that's cool. That's chill. So that happened, and like we were talking, and we were even like making plans to go to the international in China. So that's like a Dota 2 tournament. We were like going to go for the event and everything. So everything like checked out just barely enough to sound legit. You know, it's like he owns China Bar, but then he is a chef, so he's sending me like, pictures of what he cooks and stuff like that. So it's like it's barely legit, and I'm not the kind of person that would like go and doubt someone's like background story to be like, oh, that's not real, that's not real. So it was like real enough for me to accept as the truth. So what happened was after some time, he wanted me to go out with him. So he actually went from Melbourne to Adelaide, where I was studying at that time, to meet me because he wants to date me. And when he came here, he saw like all my money and was like, okay, I want to teach you how to invest. But he told me he didn't want my cash directly. So that made me felt safe because I was like, okay, if a scammer wanted to scam my money, he would have taken the cash, right?
No.
No, no, okay, now we know no. But back then,
No, but it feels. I'm sorry, but it just he wanted to date you 29 and you were like what 18, 19. I feel like
yes.
he's like a pedophile.
Yeah, but when you're 18 and 19, you don't feel like that. You feel
Wait,
impressionable.
can we beep it? I'm supposed to say PDF file.
Yeah, we can beep it. We'll beep it.
Beep.
But I felt like, no, cause I thought I was pretty mature, right? Like, I was already like living alone at that time. I was overseas. Like I was like,
Yeah, you felt like you were like independent.
yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, he's not scamming me because he would have taken my cash, but instead he asked me to transfer it to him officially. So it's like traceable, it's safe. And during this time, he paid for all the meals. Like he dressed nicely, he took me out for dinner, he paid for all the meals, and this is where the red flag would have like blink, blink, blink for everyone. He told me that he shared a bank account with his ex girlfriend who was in the process of moving out. And he said, you can transfer it here to her. It's safer that way. If I was scamming you, I would just take your cash or ask you to transfer it to me. But you can trust me because you're sending it to her.
And you believed it?
I know. I'm now 26 and I'm like, okay, what the hell what the hell is wrong with me? Why did I transfer it to anyone? But anyways, I did that and I'm going to insert some bank transactions up here later in the edits just so that people know it's real. So, isn't it wild how scammers build trust? Like he didn't even ask for cash right away. He made it sound like I was like totally in control. So I also felt safe. Like I'm not the only one being stupid, by the way. Like I had all of my friends, like 10 of us, right? So there's like other guys as well, like, predominantly guys because they all play games. But these like guys who are like a little bit older than me, maybe like at that time they would have been like 22, 25. He was also asking John and like a few others in my circle for money and like all for like small investments. They each gave like 1 or 2 thousand each. I was the only person who gave like 11,000. I don't know why. And I also have receipts of this. I may or may not put it in, like covering their name, like whether it's like makes sense or not. I may put it in, but seeing all of that happening, it made me feel like it was legitimate. I was like, okay, 6 other people are giving him money. Like what he's doing isn't shady.
Holy
So
shit.
months pass and Leo keeps giving me updates. He's like, okay, the investment's doing really well. There's like chats, messages, promises. He's like, okay, like it's doing really well. Like there's nothing wrong with it. You'll get your money back soon. You'll have enough to go and travel, enough to do this, enough to do that. So one day he came to me and like at this time we were like, I guess, sort of together. The story is a bit hazy because it happened like 6, 7 years ago. But he came to me and said that there were legal issues with his business China Bar in Melbourne. He also sort of claims to have shares in like, that frozen yogurt place Lao Lao with the green color scoop.
Yo yo.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. So he also claims they have shares there, right? But so he said that he had legal issues with his business partner and all his accounts have been frozen. And my investment was also caught in the middle and he would get it back soon. So spoiler, of course he didn't, but at that time, this was like finally the point where we were like, okay, we need to ask for our money back. So John started asking for his money back and was struggling to get like any sort of real response. At this time, he was still playing games with us because we were like trying to maintain how to say, like, we try to maintain some sort of friendship so he feels more obliged to give us back our money. So because he had so much of my money, like 11, 12 grand, I was just playing nice, like pretending to be patient. I didn't want to lose everything at once. So occasionally he would transfer a few $100s here and there, like maybe like 500 once or twice. But in the end, I think like I would estimate my losses around $8,000. So after a while, like I think like almost like 8 months of playing pretend to be nice, like at this time I was already like not in a relationship with him, although we didn't really end things. It was just like obvious that I wasn't gonna be with him. I began to pull away and he could tell because our friend group on Discord started drifting and I started to like um exclude him from stuff. So I was still very depressed. I was still trying to distract myself. But at this point, I was chatting to another guy who became a pretty good friend at that time. And I vented about what happened. And all this guy said to me was, yeah, you're never getting that money back. Like, that was the moment it like hit me that this is like reality. And it's funny because that guy who I was talking to, he's mutual friends with another group. So do you want to guess what happens with the other group?
But did they get scammed also? Like, what am
He
I
was
supposed to
trying
guess?
to scam them too. Like, Leo is now in this new circle with new lies, like a new life, trying to scam them. He has now
Oh my
changed his
god.
backstory. He's no longer the owner of China Bar. He's no longer a successful businessman, but he was with that background trying to scam this new group of people. And the reason that we knew about it was because one of the girls in that group is a streamer, like not famous, but she was like small time streaming. And my friends could hear him in Discord and they were like, okay, that sounds like Leo. So at this
Please.
point, I wasn't even mad about the money. I was embarrassed. I was very embarrassed. I was like, yikes. I thought being smart meant that I couldn't get scammed. So I was like quite annoyed at this point. I'm like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I looked up his real name on Facebook because remember we spoke about like having a trip to like the international at China. So he
Yeah.
sent me his passport, right? So I looked up his name
Oh.
on Facebook. I stalked, like his Facebook was like kind of anonymous too, but I don't know why. But the thing about Facebook is even though you private your profile, you can see who likes their profile pictures. So I stalked the likes over there, found the people with the same surname, and I found his family. So over there, I like did a bit of digging. I tried to message his brother. He didn't get back to me. So I remember he told me about his ex girlfriend that he was staying with. Remember? He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, we're not together anymore, but she's moving out in Melbourne. We're just like staying together while she like figures that out." So I remember I transferred money to her. So on my bank I have her real name, right? So I did a lot of like I guess like reverse engineering on Google and stuff like that. And then I found her on Instagram. We'll call her Shiny because that's close to her name, but it's not. So Shiny, I messaged her being like, okay, this like we need to talk. Something seriously like happened. And she only replied 2 weeks later, saying she hasn't used Instagram in a while, but asked if I was still in contact with him. So turns out what happened here was that he scammed her as well and he used her for a lot of money, like more than he used me because she was living with him. So what happens is every time he scams someone, he would use that money to like treat her well for a bit so she continues to stay with him and subsidize his life.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? Like someone made a Netflix series out of this. So like every time he scams a bit of money, he buys like takes her out
That's
for a
something
trip.
nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
like takes her out for a trip. Let's go to Taiwan and stuff like that. So by the time I messaged her, she told me like it was over. She finally saw the light. And she said that he had been emotionally abusive, manipulative, and her parents took a long time to like get her out of that situation. So she said that they moved, like, to get her out of that situation, they moved her out of Australia and like got her to move back home to Malaysia. So she's like, I'm out of the
Oh,
country
she's
now.
Malaysian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're all Malaysians in this story. All of us.
He has a
Yes.
target audience.
That's why I felt a sense of security because we're all Malaysians in this story. Like we're
Wait, the
all
scammer is Malaysian
yes,
also.
yes. He's Malaysian, John's Malaysian, this girl is Malaysian. The only ones that are not Malaysian are the mutual friends in the story. Which is why I felt so safe.
Oh.
I'm like, kaki lang ma. We're all the same kind of people. Why would we do this? So I never grew up with like this before lah. So it's a bit new to me. So it was very surreal. I told her that I was like lied to by him and that he told me their relationship was over. And I only found out now that it wasn't over at that time when I first sent him money. So that means he was taking money from me to go and take her out for nice dinners. I'm like, what the F?
No, I don't know. I feel like if a guy is like, oh, transfer money to my ex and I'm blah blah blah. I just feel like that's why when I was younger, I always tell myself like, oh, unless a guy is like a few months broken up or something, I don't even want to try because it feels like they won't even be over the girl. But this one is a whole nother level. I'm broken up, but also let me use her account.
In my defense, it was a
Yeah.
rebound relationship. Like it was never gonna lead anywhere. Like I was heartbroken over my breakup. But I don't know why I like to pick up garbage. Like my title at that time is like garbage collector. So what happened is I'll explain to you like what I found out after. So this was like the first like of my investigation, right? So
Okay.
we both just like kind of real like my message with her was very short. It's 2 pages only. We kind of realized that we were duped by the same man. Like in her defense, I didn't ask her because I didn't want to talk to her that much. But I feel like she didn't know where the money came from also. I don't know whether she knows he was scamming or not. Like I don't want to say that she has bad character and she knew. But in her defense, if he was using her for money and she saw a little bit come into her bank account, like she's not gonna ask where it came from, right? She's just gonna be happy that she got something back. So I'm
Wow.
not gonna say like she's a bad person or anything.
But it came from like a random stranger account, The thing is, it's not coming from his account. That's where I feel like
Yeah, but you have to think he's
I would
such
have
a
sounded
good
the alarms
liar. He's
also.
such a good liar. Like he could have
True.
probably told her that he earned the money like doing freelancing or whatever. Like you don't know. We don't
And
know.
I just gave your account.
Yeah. So like at this point, it's probably like a year and a half after that I messaged her.
Okay.
So it's also like maybe she didn't know about it. She didn't want to know about it. But now that I messaged her, it's also like kind of like in the past for her. So she doesn't want to like really rehash the wound, and I won't make her. So what I found as well is um, that he hold on, let me think how to phrase this because I'm jumping like around. So what I found out as well is that he also like had a cousin here who's also Malaysian, is his cousin, living here in Melbourne. And I found out from his cousin that she was scammed. I don't know if it was her or like everyone collectively, but he scammed $100,000, stole her entire PC setup, and he was working for her and collecting commission at that time to try to pay her back.
So let me pay it back with your money.
Something like that. Something crazy, right? So like at that time, I kind of like spoke to her and explained to her what was happening. And I'll get into more details later. But at that point I was like, you know what, I don't even care if he doesn't pay me back. Because by that stage in my life, I really like I was so tired of him. I was so tired of being anxious of like when I was gonna get paid back. And I was already in a new relationship at that time. So I like put everything behind me. And the one thing that my dad told me when I told him that I got scammed of like this amount of money, he just like told me to treat it as an expensive lesson. He's like, this is a hard lesson for you to learn and it's an expensive lesson, but it built you into a better person. I was quite shocked because
Mom would have killed me.
I know I was expecting my dad to kill me, but I don't know. Like he was quite understanding, and when I look back at it now, I don't think I was like stupid, but I was like trying to be human, and I was rebounding off a very very volatile relationship. So
Yeah.
that gives you context of what happened to me. So today, when I was like looking through the messages, my evidence, and all of that, just so I can back up this story, because like everyone I told like thinks it's BS because it sounds too crazy. Because who gets scammed through a video game that's not like cosmetics or items? Like who gets scammed real money? I don't know, man. So one of these person, A, who I used to play with a long time ago during that time part of the friend group, he said that everyone he plays Dota with in the past has been like drama only, and that now he's like in the better new group of people, and like they're not like full of drama and all of that. But at that time I have like messages with him where he was advising me um about proof of transfer claims, because Leo keeps sending me these like doctored screenshots of transfers from the bank. You know how like when you send money you can screenshot the amount. So he would put me in as the recipient and all of that. And I would like believe it, and I would be like, "Hey, I haven't received the money." And he would say like, "Oh, remember I told you my account's frozen. They might be investigating it." And on top of that, I have like all of these screenshots from like six different people, like even a year later, asking me if I got my money back, and I had to keep telling them no, not at all, not at all. Or like I only got like, 500 at a time. So one of my really good friends at the time, Fee, she was really angry at him. She said he's a C word, and she always told me to be careful, but I don't know why I didn't listen to her. Like the first time she thought something was weird was before I even met him, because like apparently Leo went to her like boyfriend and told him that he wants to move to Adelaide to be with me, and that things feels pretty serious. And Fee was like a bit reserved bringing it up with me. She's like, "Oh, I don't know if I should bring this up with you. It's a bit weird. I don't want you to think I'm shit talking him." But it's weird, right? Like I'm not even with this guy yet, and he's telling my mutual friends that he wants to move in with me.
That is weird.
Right. And then on top of that, um at that time, like I kept telling her, like after all of this has come to light, I kept telling her, he keeps saying like, why would he scam me of the money? It's not like he needs it. And she was so real. She's like, he said the same thing about MMR. So I don't know, you say you're not a gamer, so I'm gonna like explain it to you a little bit. Like when you play rank on Dota, you have like MMR numbers, and you have like certain ranks that are perceived as good. So he always claimed to be an 8K MMR player, and all my friends that are actually good, they're like, no, he's not. He's not 8K. There's no way he is. That's why he's always on these Smurf accounts that he bought, so that he never has to play for a real rank. And she says that when he says that same phrase, like, why would I lie about my MMR? It reminds her of like the same phrase he would say, like, why would I scam you of the money? So she's like,
Oh.
why didn't you just call the police or call the lawyer? I'm like, at that time, I didn't know. I was like, I guess I was more scared of causing up trouble, right? Also, Leo would like say to John, not to me, but he would say to John that his dad was part of the gangsters in Malaysia and stuff like that.
What? That is like
Yes, so John would like sort of like tell me these things, but because it's not direct, I couldn't like verify it. So I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna stir up any trouble. And over time, I found out more and more, because I was like asking around people, because he says so much shit, right? So when he pretends to pay us back, there was one particular screenshot that he sent to John and I, because he owed John and I the most amount of money. He owed John like 2K, he owed me like 11K. Maybe at this point it was like 10K. So in this screenshot, it was a check. I don't know if it's a real check, if it's a fake check, but at the bottom of the check, it says someone's name. It was a Chinese name, but let's call her Clarice. So, this Clarice person, full name because it's a bank record. I found them on, I think it was Instagram. I found them on Instagram, and guess who she is?
Oh,
She
your
is the
girlfriend? Your
cousin.
cousin?
Yeah,
Oh,
she was the cousin that told me all of these stories. So she told me that Leo falsifies a lot of the records, like not just bank statements, but also like where he lived, where he stayed, like falsifies records for his employment, stuff like that, and that he overstayed his visa and stuff like that. So now it clicked to me. He overstayed his visa. So now he's not only a scammer, he's also staying in the country illegally.
did you do anything?
I mean, I didn't know what to do. At this point, I was still 20. So that's why he had me transfer all the money to his ex because he can't have a bank account of his own. Allegedly. That's the reason I think it is, but that's what the cousin told me. So, remember at this time, he was also like trying to scam another group on Discord.
Yeah.
So as I know all this information, I was feeding it to like an insider in that Discord group. So he was trying to raise awareness in that group to be like, hey, this guy, he's really sus because this is what he did to my first group of friends. So at this time, I was talking to the cousin a little bit, and um, I in this conversation, she has let me know that he's been doing this for 10 years. And every time he
Oh,
scams some,
season.
yes, 10 years. And it's never his name on the account. And at this stage, I guess my only loss is 8K and some of my energy. I felt like he was a glorified bagger.
I'm gonna
And
be honest, the
yeah,
fact that you still got some money back
it's
is
crazy. It's
very
crazy. Like,
surprising.
yeah, like that's why like John and I were like, that's weird. Like, why would he scam you and still give you back like 500 at a time? Like, what's going on? So we always had that conversation. Like, it's weird. So when I asked the other group as well, like, what's going on? I have a few of those people who like barely knew me, but they would come like Discord message me and they would ask me about him. And I was so embarrassed to be associated with someone like him. Like, I had a message from someone that asked me, like, hey, you know this guy? I was like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, I don't know. Can you tell me more about him? He talks like he's a millionaire.
He talks like he's a millionaire.
Yeah, so I'm so embarrassed. So, going back on that, I was just at this point, I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know what to do because his ex girlfriend left the country, didn't even seek retribution, anything like that. And even his cousin, like, he's scamming his own blood. Like, even though, like, cousins, like, extended family, but it also seems like, she didn't get much of her money back. I don't know if she was just letting me believe that, but she was, like, sort of keeping in contact with him, but always just, like, I don't know, just to, like, check out on him, I guess. But
What's the point of checking up on him if he scam you? Like I would be like, no, this cousin is for the streets, man.
well, what I'm thinking is that she's trying to play the long game like us, just to get back a little bit at a time.
Oh, yeah, I mean that would make sense.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So John, he was great. Like he always treat me like a younger sister. So like all the time he would message me, right? So in 2019, he asked me if Leo had paid yet. I told him no, and you know Leo still owed him some money as well. So we always just like checked up with each other if any of us got anything. But by May 2020, John was like really annoyed. He hasn't got anything from Leo in like 3 to 4 months, and we both haven't got anything. So we both like decided to confront him. And Leo just like kept telling us, oh, since there's no work, there's no money. And like he was like in return asking us for help. And we're like, are you serious? You're asking us for help after you scammed us? So in 2020, June, this is where things like exploded, right? So at this stage, I
Okay.
was talking to Clarice a bit because of the stolen check and stuff, and I reached out to her. So she told me that thankfully all of these checks they've been cancelled, so they're just duds that he used to play around and pretend that he's writing big checks to people. And um, I had to keep all of this conversation on the down low because she was confronting him about stuff like in real time, about like why are you doing this to other people and stuff like that, so that she could feed it back to his family. I don't know if that part happened, but that's what she told me she would do. So this is when Clarice dropped the bomb that he did scam like 100K across 10 years. And this is a pattern for him. He always hits people in groups, and he always picks vulnerable targets like me, like international students that are young, that are away from home. His family, all of his family knows everything, and they want to disassociate from him, and they want him in jail. And I wish I have the screenshots of like these messages with Clarice, because I have the screenshots with everyone else, including his ex-girlfriend, but not Clarice. I think I was so like so shook that I like deleted them, because I was like, okay, out of sight, out of mind. But
Oh,
this would have been explosive to put onto the screen right now. So she kept the bombshells coming. She said that his whole game was that he's always scamming people because he has no money to get by, because like he has like no valid visa, right? So all he can do
so you
is
can't
like,
get a job.
yeah, so he all he can do is get like those like low paying jobs that pay you in cash. And he's
Hmm.
always like trying to spin fake investment tales to help you start a business. And she spilled a lot of family dirt too. Like he always like sort of like recycles the same story but change things up a little bit. But basically the theme of his story is he's always like playing rich to build trust fast, because it's like you can trust me with your money because I don't need your money. And he's always like doing things to make it seem like he doesn't need your money, right? Like he's buying you dinners, he's flying out to you, stuff like that. He's never asked you for your money until he got you hooked. So his dad, not a gangster, retired banker. And Leo, at this point, he is an unqualified chef being paid $16 an hour, less than minimum wage, with a worthless accounting degree because he can't even use it. And at this point, I also found out that because John was still keeping in touch with him, that he has a kid. That's the worst part. He has a kid, and
Oh my God.
he claims to be paying $5,000 a month for the kid to go to school. But like at this point, I was just like laughing because like he couldn't even pay any of us back $50. So what do you mean he has a kid that he's sending to school? So
I'm more sad. Like I'm not sure if it's true or not if he has a kid, but
yeah,
I'm more
yeah,
like
like we don't know that. We don't know that. But that's what
he
like I was told lah. So what happened was now
yeah.
thinking about it, I feel so stupid because he like told me, when you send the money, don't put baby, just put my name. I was like, at that time, I was like, bro, I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna put baby. But after all of this, like even like after all of this, the biggest slap in the face is the stories that he still tried to spin like we're all stupid or something. Like John told me that Leo was still on Discord telling people he built a $30,000 PC, and we just laughed at him because he's such a clown. Like now his new story is that he has a kid, the woman that he's with loves him despite everything. But we just like feel so much pity for him, right? Like even as family, Clarice couldn't get her money back. Like even his ex couldn't get her money back. So I wasn't gonna keep trying anymore. This time I was just like, okay, you know what? Like I'm not gonna bother chasing the rest of it. Like I guess from my friend group, I would say he scammed $10,000 off of us, like 8K from me, 2K from the rest of my friends. I think six people gave him money. And at this time, I guess we were just like, wow, this guy is a legend. How does his brain even work to just come up with all these stories on the spot? Like, he doesn't need time to think. He just can come up with the stories on the spot. If you ask him, Leo, where's my money? He will come up with a story on the spot about how his lawyer's putting up the paperwork to get his accounts unfrozen and all of this shit.
He has a template in his mind.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like I don't know. I find it so sad that, like even his own family knew that he can't be helped. Like the fact that his cousin told me that they want him locked up and not even rescued, and That's why the brother never replied me because like so many of his victims probably tried to reach out, right?
Yeah, imagine like because he's not smart enough to like hide his tracks completely, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, it's like,
So probably a lot of people found out the family, and a lot of the family already know lah, maybe.
but I think that's what makes people feel kind of trusted because he sends his real ID, he sends his passport.
True, true.
Yeah, right? And all of my transfer history, when I look back the statement, you could see that the first one said Leo loan, like I loaned him $1,500, but then the rest, like the few transfers after that, like 7,000, 2,000, all of that says the investment, like the investment code and the investment name that like he asked me to put in, which is why it felt real. Because I was like, oh, I'm putting it into the bank, what do you call it? Like the bank's like reference code. So I was like, that's why it felt really real. But I guess all in all, like hearing it from his own blood made me realize that, this is not personal. It's not like he's out to get me. This is just who he is. And I was just another mark in the long con. Like, it just really sucks. Like it pays to be a good person. Like I felt like at that time because my intention was that the money wasn't for me. I felt like as a friend, as a person that I was sort of talking to, if you came and told me like, hey, I really need the money, I can't get buying, like I probably would have just given it to him. Why did he have to lie to me?
Because that's just his motto, ma. Like he's already used to doing it that way, you know.
Yeah.
And plus, especially like if you're a friend and you say I can't get by or whatever, he will feel like the chances of someone giving him money is so low. He doesn't even know that you will be the type that would just give, ma. But at the same time, I feel like you would have been a bigger victim if he had done that to you because you would have thought like, okay, he's a friend, he's really struggling, he genuinely like can't get by, blah blah blah, you know? You would have been a bigger victim, I feel.
Yeah, but I would have appreciate to know the truth because, like, let's be real, the money, like, I never saw it as mine anyways. Like, if I saw it as mine, I would have spent it the moment that I broke up with my ex, but I didn't. So, like, I was gonna treat that money as like a write off anyway. So, it did make me feel a bit shitty back then, but funnily enough, like if I didn't curate this like Dota friend group, I wouldn't have met my husband because like down the line, like in mysterious ways, like that friend group like sort of like tread down the line to into another friend group that introduced us together, and now we're married, but that's a story for another day. But if all of this never happened, like I think my life right now I would not be here.
You would not be the same. You would be like different. Don't know where you would be, but somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where I would be. I don't know if I would be playing the game, but I don't hate it because like at that time, like even if I was happy or if I was depressed, like I was always like playing Dota as like a codependency thing. So I felt like to learn such a big life lesson from a video game is it's a really big life lesson, I guess. Like you can't learn that anywhere else. Like you gotta learn these things through experience.
You still play so much Dota today.
I still do, but at least I'm not getting scammed anymore. Now it's not me getting scammed, it's my husband getting scammed. Someone's like, do you wanna join our tournament? And he's ready to click that link. And I'm like, babe, please don't click that link.
Oh my God. Well, it's cute lah. I mean, in the end, happy endings is something that you finally, I believe, you can move on from, and now you can tell the story.
Oh yeah, I've moved on like long time ago. I think I was like over it like within a year and a half. Like once I stopped like trying to I guess once I stopped trying to get the money back and stuff like that and just accepted that it is what it is, I slept much better. Like initially I was like quite anxious. I was like, "Oh, what should I do? Should I go to the police? Should I go to a lawyer?" But I don't know who could help me because it's such like an obscurely weird story. Like thinking about it now, like there was no reason for all of this to happen. Like he didn't do anything for me to like really believe that I could trust him with my money.
I guess you were, I mean, I can't really blame you because you were also going through something at that time, you know?
Yeah, so I guess like my biggest takeaway is I'm now in Melbourne. Leo, if you're listening to this and I see you on these streets, you better watch your air.
Your eh.
Like,
By the way, um, this is like the length of this story has gone into like a full episode.
mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like, everyone should learn from my mistake. I mean, I don't feel like anyone would be as stupid as I am, but I think it is worth telling as a warning story. Like, you don't know who you're talking to online, and trust is easy to build online behind a screen. I mean, God, how many online friendships and relationships have I had that I thought, we'd be like really good friends or would be like together for a long time and it doesn't work out.
Yeah. Hey, do you think we should talk about relationship dramas?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should start with you.
Honestly, I feel like in terms of relationship drama, I would only like share like the really old ones. I don't want to share like newer ones.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll build the history there, but I can be a receipt for those ones because I lived through it.
Girl, okay guys, if you guys don't know, Misa literally always like every time I get a boyfriend, she's like, can't trust no one you pick. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sugarcoat it. I scare them all away. I scare them all away, actually, like, legitly. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Maybe I
Some
just want you for myself.
so possessive.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll plan the next episode. Maybe Lynn can tell us a bit more about herself.
I will see. We'll see if I want to. Because the thing about me is I have really bad memory. So I'm pretty sure like it might be a bit hazy and might not be like a perfect story. Plus I don't have receipts.
Yeah, I guess like for me as well, like I do want to apologize if any of this seems a bit jumbled. I did try my best to like write them down, but some of the stuff I realized later, I added in later. So like some of the stuff towards the end might feel like it's a bit jumping back and forth, but I do try my best to recollect the facts and um I'll make sure everything else is backed up, especially when it comes to money. I'll make sure it's all backed up by the facts and receipts. But otherwise, I am just telling, I guess, my truth to the best of my knowledge. And if you guys have any questions, drop it down in the comments and I'll get back to them as long as
Oh,
it does not violate anyone else's privacy.
don't be asking her for money in the comments, okay?
Yeah,
She's
don't
no
be.
longer the
I
she's no
yeah,
longer the naive girl.
I'm out of that business. I'm out of that monopoly banker business. But funny
Okay,
you said
well,
that. Funny you said that
yeah.
because before I end this episode, I'm gonna say while I was telling someone this story, literally a year later, he asked me to borrow some money to take care of his pregnant wife as well. So of course I said yes because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant and there's a baby on the way. And since I'm getting some money back, I'm gonna lend it to him. He paid me
You never got the
back.
money
He
back.
paid me back, but
Oh, you got it back.
yeah, he took 3 years to pay me back. Yeah,
Oh, you got the money back. I
yeah.
really can't say much.
But I don't
It's a
lend people
win.
money anymore. Like 3 years is too long. Like there's no interest. I shouldn't be giving out these interest-free loans.
Girl, I don't know about you or a lot of other people, but I have like this rule that I stick with. My mom also does like a similar thing, but a larger sum, I guess, because I'm very stingy. I tell myself if my friend ever wants to borrow my money, there's a cap. 50 ringgit, nothing more, nothing less. That's the most you're gonna get. I mean, less, yes, less, yes, but nothing more. That's the cap.
I thought
And
we were
then
gonna have the same. I thought we were gonna have the same upbringing because my dad says don't lend anyone any amount that you can't bear to lose. So I
yeah,
only lend people money that I bear to lose.
10K. I'm not lending, I guess.
Well, now it's reduced. Like now maybe $50.
See, that's me. I'm like just 50 ringgit cap. And I will be like, terms and condition, give me exactly how long you need to pay me back. And the moment timeline hits, like the deadline hits, I'm like, where's my money? Where's my money?
Dude, I always make the mistake where I'm scared to ask for my own money back. Like, what's wrong with me? It's my money. Like, why am I
I
scared
was
to ask for my own money back?
I can tell you I was like a loan shark since I was like in primary school. Like that means like before I met you, right?
Yeah.
There was one time like this kid borrowed me. At that time, guys, if you don't know, we're all like very young, so we don't have much, but this kid borrowed like 10 ringgit from me. And I was like, when are you gonna return it? And they're like next week. So I gave them 7 days exactly, and they kept like pushing off paying me back. So I would ask them, I would walk to their classroom every morning and after school to remind them, get me my money back. And then like I got my money back like 10 days later at the end. But
Oh my
I
god,
was a
girl,
loan
you're
shark. I come and chase you, I
crazy.
give me my money
You're
back.
crazy.
To be fair, okay. For context, at that age, my pocket money was like around like maybe like 10 ringgit or 20 ringgit a week. So 10 ringgit is a huge sum for me at that time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, moral of the story, don't lend anyone anything that you can't afford to lose.
Same for investment, guys. Just a quick mature tip from Lynn. If you want to do investments, remember to like check your risk appetite, like how much you're willing to lose. Whatever you put into investing, like stocks or whatever, just make sure it's money that you're willing to be like, if it's gone, it's gone. Like it's not gonna be something you can get back. If you feel like you're not willing to take that risk, then don't do it. Just look for safer investment options.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't invest under someone else's name unless they're a registered investor.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's all I've got to say.
All right, thanks for listening in this week. We hope you like the story. And any questions, leave it down in the comments.
Bye bye.
Bye.